Alright class, so today we're going to talk about qualitative and quantitative observations. So first, we'll look at qualitative. Now what's a similar word that looks and it's kind of spelled similarly to qualitative? Mike?
Quality.
Quality, perfect. So quality has to do with properties and characteristics of something. So combine that with qualitative observations. We've got observations about the characteristics of whatever you're observing. And so one good way to remember this is think about your five senses. So what are some examples of observations you can make with your five senses? Jackie?
Color.
Color, perfect. So color, we're using sense of sight to look at it and you perceive the color, whether it's red or blue or anything else, and so that's going to be a qualitative observation. What's another example? Matt?
Texture.
Texture, perfect. So texture, again, going to be using one of the five senses. That's going to be a sense of touch. So you can feel whether something is soft or rough or anything else, and it's going to be a qualitative observation. So one thing you can notice about this is they're non-numerical, just words using to describe whatever you're observing. So quantitative, what's a similar word here that's looked and spelled similarly to quantitative? Matt?
Quantity.
Quantity, perfect. So quantity means how much. So looking at quantitative observations, we're looking at how much there is of something. So one good way to remember quantitative observations is measurements. So measurements, you're going to be using tools and something like that to measure how much there is of something. So what are a couple examples of possible quantitative observations? Jackie?
Time.
Time, perfect. So time, we're going to be looking at seconds, minutes, hours, or even years if it gets to be that long. And so you can get quantity of how much, you're looking at how many seconds or how many minutes, how many hours, and that's going to be the quantitative observation. So what's another example here? Mike?
Height.
Height, perfect. So with height, again, we're going to be looking at a unit of measurement, so it's going to be using like a ruler or something to look at inches or centimeters, yards, feet, something like that. And it's going to be how many inches, how many centimeters, how many feet we have. So if you look at like a mountain, that can be 15,000 feet, and that's going to be the quantitative observation that we have. All right, so now to do a little demonstration, I have some peppermints here. And so what is one quantitative observation that we have here? Mike?
There's 3 of them.
Perfect, there's 3 of them. So that's going to be quantitative because we're measuring it, we're counting how many there are. So I'll pass out one of these to each of you. Now, if I ask you for a couple qualitative observations. Jackie?
They are red and white.
Red and white, perfect. So that's going to go with color. So let's go back to this example of color using your sense of sight and seeing what color it is. All right, so can I get one more qualitative observation?
They're minty.
Perfect, Matt. Minty. So minty, that's going to be another one of the senses. That's going to be the sense of taste. So you can taste that they're minty, and that's your qualitative observation. So now to help you remember the difference between qualitative and quantitative, I came up with a little cheer to make it a little bit easier. So cheer goes like this. Qualitative, quality, properties in your senses. Quantitative, quantity, numbers, measurements. Alright, so now everyone stand up and you're going to do it with me and get lots of energy and excitement here. So, Qualitative, quality, properties in your senses. Quantitative, quantity, numbers and measurements. Perfect, guys. So now hopefully you'll be able to remember this, and on your test later on you'll be able to remember and get every question right.